and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another Seven Brothers with not my brother. This is the first time I'm filming with another person in the room. Some of you may have seen the live 4 weeks ago now. Well, it depends when you watch this, but Sam did join me for a live a while back, and what we were going to do one today is bank holiday weekend here in the UK, and as a result we drank a bit yesterday. We're okay, we didn't go overboard, but just that kind of, we're just being lazy, and
not a funk.
As much as we wanted to do a live, I don't think we could really deliver it well, but we thought we could deliver a beer review, and we've not done a Seven Brothers for a bit, still got a few to get through, so and it's kind of a special occasion, bank holiday weekend, seeing people, and it's quite a special beer, really. 7% job, part of the Seven Brothers series, this one of their kind of ultimate range, and you're going to sit and, well, you're going to tell me if I'm talking nonsense. I think is probably the best way that we do this.
Well, I'm really excited. I was really excited when you suggested that we do this one, because you've raved about this particular brewery, and we were drinking Utini last night.
Yes.
And I was very excited about that. Not only because I like Star Wars very much, but also because it was incredibly delicious. So I'm excited to try this one. Yeah,
I reckon it's going to be good. This is called Humble Pie, and it's, I assume it's a raspberry. I don't actually know what it is. I should have done that research before. It is, it's a pear and blackberry wheat beer. We're going to get into it. This is going to be a test on two levels. Firstly, you're going to be able to tell me whether I'm talking nonsense or not, to give some validity to my other videos, maybe, and we might find out that they're rubbish, and it's fine, I'm going to make him tell the truth, and then I'll edit it so you don't know. And secondly, you can validate that the Seven Brothers stuff is genuinely as good as I say it is, and you kind of know that already from the one you've had, that you've only had one, so we'll try another one. Obviously I've not had this one, so I might say this is not as good, but I hope not. I've got strong faith.
High hopes for this one, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of them have been fantastic. So before we start, here is a quick look at the can. As always, some incredible artwork, especially on the 7 Series ones. So it's going to not focus because Sam's face is in the way. There you go, duck, there we go. And there is the can design. Look at that, we've got blackberries, with a waterfall, someone doing some exploring. Say Humble Pie, 7%, part of the Seven Brothers series. And yeah, it's a pear and blackberry wheat beer, which I've definitely never had anything with matching that description before.
No, nor me.
That is one standout feature, I think, of Seven Brothers. Everything, I'm like, I've not had anything with exactly that description. So like the Utini that you tried yesterday was a sticky toffee pudding pale ale. And I've had sticky toffee pudding ales before, but never in a pail, which it feels like it shouldn't work, but it absolutely does.
It really does work.
So let's get these cracked. Obviously, we're sharing this one, so slightly smaller glasses than usual.
Just makes us feel like a pair of giants.
Indeed. So we'll pop a little nifter into each of these. You can observe the pour.
It's the fabled crummy pour. I get to witness it in person.
There you go, full flake effect. Right there.
Have you got a spoon?
Got a spoon? Have you got a flake? Surely.
Yeah, true, okay.
Anyone who's not seen any other video before is going to tune into this and go, what on earth is going on here? I'll give you this one because I have... oh no, we haven't. No.
It's fine, they're equal. They're even.
They're both
equally frothy.
Please, sir, retrieve your.
Many thanks.
Welcome. We'll do an aroma test first before we cheers off. Right then. No pressure. This is not your idea, so you can just tell me it smells like beer if you want, but I'm going to give it my best go.
Definitely wheaty.
Yeah, it's got like it's got a big wheat body. It's almost got a bit of
sort of German smelling.
Yeah, very like Hogarden reminiscent.
Yeah, that's the one that came to mind. Yeah.
It's almost a bit lemony, even though it's not in the description. It's
a little bit of lemon. Not lemony like Pledge, but lemony like lovely. And it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of like the same, like subtle citrusy German and European wheat beers. Like just that. The blackberry and the pear is not coming through in heaps. There's a sweetness that could be the pear, but it's subtle.
Yeah.
But then again, it's the same kind of sweetness that again you get in those traditional wheat beers. So I never described them before as being pear-like, but then again, some Belgian stuff often gets compared to like pear drop sweets.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
so it's that kind of.
Now that you've mentioned it, and I don't know whether it's just psychosomatic, but now that you've mentioned it, I feel like that kind of little bit, like you say, a little bit of pear drop is kind of coming through a little bit.
But I'm not getting any of the blackberry, blackcurrant, is it? Blackberry, yeah. I'm not getting any. I'm not really getting any of that. But in every Seven Brothers beer I've had so far, the aroma has always been a bit muted.
Sure.
And it's all come through on the flavour, which is kind of impressive, given that you're meant to taste sort of like a massive percentage with your nose rather than with your tongue. So
sure.
I don't know how they do it, but they do.
Well, it's funny because to me, I mean, what was it, blackberry or blackcurrant? Blackberry.
It's blackberry.
I couldn't tell you what a blackberry tastes like. I don't think. Maybe it's just because I don't eat them that much.
They're quite. They're quite. It's a bit Black Forest Gatto-y. It's one of the key components to that. It's like
they're quite tart.
Yeah, a bit tart, a bit sour, a bit. So it'll be interesting if this ends up that way. It has got.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a lactose beer or not, but it has got a bit of an edge that's reminiscent of some kind of lactose sours I've had before.
Okay.
It doesn't have a. It doesn't necessarily smell like anything else. It's just a commonality between a few beers in that style. But
sure.
Other than that, that's all I'm really getting. But it does smell appetising. So in the glass, then it's. I'll try and hold it up for your benefit, see if you can see. It's coming across on camera as being slightly redder than it really is.
It looks peach coloured on camera, but it's not really.
It's a touch lighter than that in real life. It's got a bit of haze, but that's probably because we emptied the full can into it.
Yeah.
It was a bit clearer than that to start with. The head has dissipated, which
quickly
is a bit
as well.
Dissipated quickly. Could be these glasses though.
Right.
Possibly not the ideal glass, but
if they had the little dealies at the bottom, do you think that would make a difference?
The little dealies. It could do. It's the point that I should be telling you what they're called, but as everyone knows, it's the word I always forget.
Yep.
So the dealies we'll run with.
Well, I did look it up, and I'd never encountered the word before, and I instantly forgot it.
Yeah, I always want to say percolator, but it's not percolator. It's not percolator. Someone always tells me in the comments, and I forget every time.
Profanatron.
I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna write it on the ceiling so I can look it up. Literally just on the ceiling. So yeah, but looks very enjoyable. Shall we get into it?
Sure.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers to you, sir. Let's do this. Ooh, that's subtle.
Yeah,
and builds,
isn't it?
It's like,
ooh, it's juicy. It's way juicier than I was expecting.
I think this is quite different to anything else from them. Like everything else I've had from Seven Brothers felt like it's very immediate, upfront, big flavours, and then it rounds off into something nice and balanced. Whereas this starts off quite subtle, but to be fair, a lot of wheat beers do.
Yeah.
And then it seems to build in the middle and then rounds out. It's really juicy, really fruity.
Yeah, really quickly as well, I think.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
really
you say
fast.
to begin with. It's got that sort of the wheatiness, but then pop-ow, pop-ow, pop-ow.
My only downer on it right now is that the mouth feels a little thin.
Okay.
For a 7%er, I thought it might be a bit more. But now, again, is it the wheat beer thing?
Were you expecting it to be a little boozier? A bit more
not
not
necessarily. I kind of thought I like it when it's quite well hidden.
Sure, me too.
It's more just it doesn't maybe stick to the mouth quite as much as a lot of the other ones, like that Otini, for example. You see that's very thick coating. Whereas this isn't. And I know wheat beers again are part of it, but I still feel like some of them maybe a bit thicker normally. I feel like Hogarth, maybe not Hogarth, but some of the others certainly are.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I often find, this might just be me, but I often find that kind of a wheat beer it's kind of, again, creamy and not hugely refreshing. But that is, and it probably is just the juiciness maybe. The kind of fruity flavours are making it feel refreshing, like a squash.
That's a good point. So that's an interesting point, and this might be taken the wrong way because it's a compliment, not a.
Oh, absolutely.
But Robinson's fruit and barley. Because you're getting. I know it's wheat rather than barley and whatever, but you're getting that grain element. And then those kind of fused fruit flavours all in one package. This is like a grown-up, boozy, slightly decadent version.
That is a really good comparison. I completely agree.
Where this is going.
Yeah.
I would like it. I really like it.
Yeah. I'm really into it.
We'll do a top to bottom taste test.
Okay, sure.
As is now.
The famous top to bottom taste test.
It's not famous, and it's rarely accurate, but we'll do it anyway. And then we'll talk a bit more about it and find out a bit more about what they say it should be like based on the can. So you're going to join me with this? See if I'm talking nonsense or not. Initial phase. Slightly sour, but not bitter, and very lightly carbonated on the front of the tongue.
Yep, completely agree.
It then goes quite sweet. Sweetness kicks in.
Very peary, I think.
Yeah.
Because pear as a fruit, pear drop sweets, as you mentioned, have a very distinct, almost medicinal kind of flavour, to me anyway.
Yeah.
But actual pears, kind of really delicious, juicy fruit, but a very subtle flavour, and that, I think, captures it quite nicely. That's the fruit, the kind of pervading fruit flavour that I get from it. Anyway.
In that kind of second, as it really just starts to coat the tongue.
The juicy blast.
Yeah, I think there's a touch of vanilla in there. Just a little, there's a little...
Yeah, a tiny little bit.
But you're right, actually, going on it again. Vanilla is where I was going to go first, but whether it's a quantity, sometimes these things depends on the quantity of beer that you take as well. Yeah. It changes quite a lot. I took a lot less that time, and I got much more of that kind of semi-fizzy pear drop sweet thing in that middle, in that second phase. Next up, you get a bit of tartness from the berry.
I
don't get a lot of like strong blackberry taste. It's not getting kind of Forest Gatto-y.
No,
but a bit of the tartness. It's not so much sour though. It's as the first bit is.
It is tart, a little kind of like, just
there's a massive seagull just out the window, and it's really distracting. It's just hanging around, and is it gonna? I mean, that's like a pterodactyl. That's massive. What's he doing?
It's not a heron this time.
It's not. There was a heron. There was a heron.
Koi.
It did happen. I can't remember if it was on a live or if it got filmed or what, but that did happen. I've been completely derailed and distracted by that.
Sorry.
Not you, the bird. Where were we? So yeah, sorry. It's a bit tart. I'm gonna have to go again to really remember what I was trying to say. Yeah, it goes tart, but then you also get that juice lick. You read that real just explosion. It's kind of it's almost every beer that has a juicy element. Is that it's just that pre-swallow back of the tongue bit just really explodes. There's elements of the blackberries in there, but it's still not really strong.
No, it's not hugely kind of. It doesn't really sort of come to the fore, does it? A lot. But again, I couldn't tell you what a blackberry tastes like. So
no, it's fair. I have had them. I do kind of know, but but you're getting a bit of that. That ever so slight, subtle, sweet citrus that's on the nose because of the wheat, like the traditional wheat beer. You're also getting a bit of that, and less of the kind of the pear and blackberry that is denoted on the can. You're getting a bit of that, I guess, just traditional wheat beer splash. The juiciness, the splash.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's incredibly drinkable though. I mean, look how quickly that's gone down.
It's going.
And that's not just because I've got a big mouth
and a small glass,
and a tiny glass.
And then we'll savour this, but for the very finish, it's not very drying at all. It feels like it's going to be, and then it doesn't, and then it kind of really actually you kind of start salivating quite a lot at the end. There's a bit of carbonation still stuck in there, and
again refreshing. I think
it's very refreshing. And it goes back to being quite peary. The aftertaste.
The lingering flavour at the end is.
But
peary,
it's almost less pear drops, more real pear. I think at the end.
Yeah,
it's got a bit of like the rind skin on a pear. Almost that slightly earthiness.
Definitely.
Sits around, and then that's kind of it. That's kind of it. There's no big hop flavour in this. There's no big malt flavour either. Obviously, it's wheat beer, so that profile is kind of predetermined in some sense. But that's really nice.
I'm a fan of the fact that it hasn't got the powerful hop flavour. I think there's a lot of stuff which really leans really heavily into that hop flavour. And I mean, you being a big fan of Citra, I think
he's lying.
That is a big old lie. It's just the migraine on button.
It is, yes.
It's really nice. I like that it kind of is a bit different to a lot of stuff now, which does, like I say, kind of go for that hoppy or malty kind of flavour.
I'm hearing it more and more as well. More people are going we've kind of done the big hop thing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there are some very hoppy beers that are incredible.
Completely.
But we need to have maybe only the good ones.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Is what
the potential has been shown.
Yes.
So it'd be nice if everyone could do that.
Let's round it out a bit with more slightly weird's the wrong word,
bitters,
but
lovely
and adaptations. This fruity wheat beer, like it's not something you can really. You could not walk into a bottle shop and guarantee to be able to pick up a kind of British fruited wheat beer. Like, it doesn't really exist. So this is like an oddity, which is kind of what the 7 series is all about, I think. On that note, let's find out a bit more. Let's take a look at the can. So it says, as all of the 7 series cans do, it says, we're 7 this year, which is a special one for us. So we decided to launch a series of 7 beers. 7 brothers, 7 years, 7 beers, and 7 unique ideas, all at 7%, which is nice. One of my dogs was 7 this week, so my dog's the same age as this brewery.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate. It says, this courageous wheat beer packed with a punch of stacks of humble, ripe blackberry and succulent pear, complemented with foraged nettle to fortify the style.
Oh, interesting.
Didn't pick up on the nettle, but I'll be honest, eating nettles is a dangerous game.
It is a real
I know nettle soup exists. I don't really have a lot of experience eating or consuming nettles though, so I couldn't really tell you what it tastes like. But
nettle soup, I think, is one of those ones that people who are really into foraging really go for. But I don't know if either of us are really into foraging.
Not really.
No.
Not really. I like the idea, the practicality element, not so much.
Yeah.
So this one is named after Brother Dan, because we're not named after, but each one of the beers in the 7 Brothers series is kind of curated by one each brother, one for each. And this is
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. It is most excellent. Because it's 7%, there's 3.08 UK units in the whole can, and it doesn't really give a whole lot more on it.
You can definitely feel the strength in the head area.
You're going a bit light already. We're getting there.
It's a squiffy one. It's nice.
I mean, you could get in trouble on this. It doesn't taste 7%.
It's not quite night juice, but it is
getting close.
Very quaffable.
If you've ever had like a potent cider that's just massive, because it's so fruity, it's kind of in that sphere. But what it does do, which is always the risk of high percentage fruited beers, they fall away too much from being beer by just relying on the fruit flavour and the fact that it's strong. This doesn't, because it's very, very much. You could blind taste this and go, "Is that wheat beer?" Like there's enough. There's a lot. It retains all of that wheat beer personality, but with that extra flair.
There's many a layer in that.
There is.
It's the fact that, to me, it doesn't taste like it doesn't taste like it's flavoured with those things either, which is really nice. It doesn't taste like it's heavily flavoured with all this stuff. It's subtle enough that you can go, "Oh, is that pear in there? Or is that tartness from a blackberry or whatever?" But it doesn't. It isn't overwhelmingly flavoured.
Yeah, I agree. It's a corker, that one, I think, is fair to say. Where does it sit in the other Brothers beers in terms of my preference? For me personally, I think it drops into the lower half just because of the body on the beer. But also, I don't drink a lot of wheat beer. It's not necessarily I enjoy them occasionally. I don't. It's not one of my go-to every day. So, but I mean, they've all been so good. We're talking about minute levels here.
Does it depend on the situation as well? Because for me, having only tried 2, a real master here, having tried 2 of the 7 Brothers beers, I think Utini was delicious, but not particularly sessionable because it was
It's quite rich.
Exactly. That's precisely the word. Whereas this one, I could probably...
Yeah, you could smash a lot of that. For sure.
It would ruin me.
Yes, indeed it would. But yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're probably right. The problem is when drinking one, you're comparing one against one against one.
Yeah.
But actually, if you wanted a night on it, then that's probably actually a much better option than most of them.
But then its strength means it probably isn't that sessionable.
Well, it is, but you might regret it. That's all we can really say. But it's a big thumbs up. There's nothing wrong with this beer. It's I like it a lot. I do have another can of it, and I'm going to drink it.
Yeah.
So Thank you very much, Seven Brothers, as always. I should have said at the start of this video, but I completely forgot. If you noticed the little thing up in the corner that said this is a sponsored post, video, whatever, it is and it isn't. Basically, Seven Brothers sent me a big box of goodies to review. I didn't pay for them, so this is just being transparent, but I'm not being paid to say nice things. They just sent me the beer. If you want to see all of the other beers that they sent me, including obviously ones we've already reviewed and the ones to come up, then there'll be a link up there in a minute. But I think, really, we're about done. Do you have any final comments, sir?
Thanks for having me on.
Welcome. He might be in the next video, he might not be. It depends how badly this beer has affected him.
I'll have changed my t-shirt by then.
I probably won't. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already, subscribe if you will be so kind. And we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.